And the news continues right now with Antonio Mora and Erica Von Thiel. CBS 4 News at 6 starts right now.
From Miami-Dade, Broward, and the Keys, this is South Florida's CBS 4 News.
Because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
The change begins now. President-elect Barack Obama starts taking the next steps toward the White House.
Our 44th President of the United States of America is African American.
The people of America and South Florida celebrate the historic change.
We have some hope for change. I'm proud to be an American this morning.
Tonight, live team coverage of the next President of the United States.
Good evening. I'm Antonio Mora.
And I'm Erica Von Thiel. Shannon Horry is off tonight. President-elect Obama is not wasting any time getting ready for this new era in American history.
He has already selected a chief of staff, and today, after breakfast with his family, Obama began meeting with his transition team. We have team coverage of the exuberance and the expectations for the president-elect. CBS 4 political reporter Michael Williams has more on the next step for Barack Obama. Gwen Belton reports on what the victory means to the black community, and Gary Nelson reports on the power of the Hispanic vote. We begin, though, with Michael. And Michael, when Florida started looking like it was going for Obama, you could almost hear the fat lady singing.
Singing loudly at this point, or at that point. This is how big a night it was for Barack Obama. Even before Florida, our key battleground state, was turning blue, a lot of the rest of the map had already gone blue in ways that have been unprecedented. Indiana, for instance, had not gone for a Democrat since 1964 in Lyndon Baines Johnson. Virginia, another key battleground state in this election. Again, a stronghold for Republicans, but not this time around. And at about 11 o'clock last night, as we were going on the air, the word came out that Florida, too, would go blue for the Democrats. It had not done that except twice before, 1976 for Jimmy Carter, 1996 for Bill Clinton. The last 32 years, that's the only other two times until last night, but now more political icing on the cake. The celebration now gives way to the daunting challenges. On Wednesday, Barack Obama, after a normal breakfast time with his family, went into meetings with his transition team. He's already offered the key post of White House Chief of Staff to this man, Illinois Congressman Rahm Emanuel. He's a close friend and also a former aide to President Clinton, and he is expected to accept. From the Rose Garden Wednesday, President Bush promised a supportive and smooth transition and saluted the historic nature of Obama's victory.
It'll be a stirring sight to watch President Obama, his wife Michelle, and their beautiful girls step through the doors of the White House.
Enormous difficulties will confront that historic presidency. Obama must deal with an economic crisis and 2 wars, an out-of-control budget deficit, and the lingering political disappointment from supporters of John McCain. He promised to be everyone's president.
This victory alone is not the change we seek. It is only the chance for us to make that change. And that cannot happen if we go back to the way things were. It can't happen without you. Without a new spirit of service, a new spirit of sacrifice.
John McCain, meanwhile, was magnanimous in his concession.
I urge all Americans who supported me to join me in not just congratulating him, but offering our next president our goodwill.
Within the Republican Party, though, disillusionment and reported infighting centered in part over McCain's pick of Sarah Palin as his running mate.
That my presence on the ticket would trump the economic crisis that America found itself in a couple of months ago and attribute John McCain's loss to me. But now, having said that, if I cost John McCain even 1 vote, I am sorry about that.
Politics, and now for Obama, planning for the future, and already he's off to fulfill a top priority for his 2 daughters.
Sasha and Malia, I love you both more than you can imagine. And you have earned the new puppy that's coming with us to the White House. The crowd-pleasing moment of the night. A promise is a promise. Would that all of them would be so easy to fulfill. Michael Williams, CBS 4 News.
Michael, thank you. Across America, one sentiment we've heard over and over again today, parents feeling that their children, no matter what their color, truly can grow up to be president or anything else they want to be. Our team coverage continues now with CBS 4's Gwen Belton, live in Northwest Miami-Dade. Now, Gwen, this victory is bringing new hope to the African-American community.
Especially for businesses like the one behind me in Liberty City, a once thriving community that's seen its share of tough times. Gone are the celebrations on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Liberty City, but not the significance of Barack Obama's win.
I feel great.
Bobby Laster owns Bobby's Gym. It is one of the few long-standing businesses in the once thriving, predominantly African-American community.
It looks like a ghost town. You know, we have no kind of events, nothing. Let's see, it was Male's Beauty Salon. Used to be a fish market over here.
All gone but not forgotten by Laster, who yearns for the good old days and who now believes his neighborhood may have a chance at a comeback now that Barack Obama is the president-elect.
I think possibly some things will happen now, you know what I mean? He'll make things happen if we stick behind him.
Retired psychology professor, historian, and author Dr. Marvin Dunn says change won't happen overnight in Miami's struggling communities like Liberty City. Some feel all but forgotten.
We've been a very angry community in Miami, in the black community, for good reason, for a long period of time. And there's still a valid basis for anger. But there's also now an opportunity for joy and for celebration.
A celebration that has meant good business for the Green Dreams Shoe Repair Store on Martin Luther King Boulevard and 6th Court.
What Barack Obama has done for us is it's like a holiday.
Quentin Quinn says his family's business has been around since 1969, barely hanging on these last few years.
We've closed this store down because of economic reasons for a week because of the rent, lights, crime.
But things have turned around since they started selling Obama memorabilia, and that gives him hope for a better tomorrow.
And Barack Obama has given us opportunity to take it to the next level, okay? Barack Obama has allowed us to hire people just to do what we're doing out here now.
But I will all.
Quentin Quinn says business here hasn't been this good in years. It's like Christmas here, and he hopes it doesn't end when the excitement dies down. In Liberty City, Gwen Belton, CBS 4 News.
Thank you, Gwen. Hispanic Americans turned out in force for Barack Obama, and that was key in putting Florida in Obama's column. In our state, 57% of Latinos voted for Obama, while only 42% voted for McCain. A resounding victory for the Democrats with a block of voters that traditionally had voted Republican. Our team coverage continues with CBS 4's Gary Nelson.
In Little Havana, late election night jubilation, ebullient Hispanic faces celebrating the election, as one sign put it, of Obama Presidente. For the first time ever, the Hispanic vote in Florida Tuesday went to the Democratic presidential candidate.
Este es el sueño americano.
In a spot where he spoke their language, Obama appealed to Hispanic voters, speaking of the American dream, better education. It resonated with voters like Yesenia Pineda, a young working mother.
He said he was going to make a change, and, you know, I do have a daughter, and she's Hispanic too, so hopefully he does make a change.
He certainly changed some minds. Colombian Peter Pardo liked Obama's message and was turned off by GOP attack ads.
I've been a Republican all my life. This is the first time I voted Democrat.
And what was the difference?
The hatred from the Republican Party towards the Democratic Party.
If Hispanics in general supported Obama, more Cuban Americans went Democratic than in years past. Voters concerned more about the economy than Castro.
The primary issue in the minds of many of the Cuban American voters who went to the polls this time was not Fidel Castro or Cuba, but their own pocketbooks.
And not just young Cuban American voters.
It's a lot of people suffering, and that's not right.
But folks like Cuban-born Marcia Naranjo and her friend Reza Cuenca.
I used to be a Republican all my life, but in this election, I just went Democrat, I changed party, and I vote for Obama.
The mold has been broken here, you think?
Yes, and I'm glad. I'm really glad. I wanted a change. A big change.
And among Hispanic voters, Tuesday marked Cambio Grande, a big change.
And there have been no small number of celebratory cafecitos consumed in places like La Carreta here today as many Hispanics celebrate the election of Barack Obama. The Sergio Bendixon Group did a survey of some 4,000 Cuban American voters in Miami-Dade County alone. 35%, an unprecedented number, supported Obama, the Democrat. We're live in West Miami-Dade. Gary Nelson, CBS 4 News.
Gary, thank you. There is still one election in Miami-Dade County that isn't decided yet. It's the race for the county's first elected property appraiser. There'll be a runoff between Gwen Margolis and Pedro Garcia Jr. Neither candidate earned a majority. Margolis received 42% and Garcia 31%. County commissioners will set the date for the runoff. The law requires that vote happen before January 1st. About 8 million Floridians were among the estimated 136.6 million U.S. voters that cast their ballots yesterday. That's a 68% voter turnout right here in South Florida. So here's how our numbers compare to the 2004 general election. In Miami-Dade County, nearly 69% of registered voters actually went to the polls. That's down 5%. In Broward, 68.8% voted, up nearly 2 percentage points.
Hot off the presses, and newspapers across the nation are flying off the shelves. Our news partners at the Miami Herald are delivering an extra 10,000 copies to 7-Elevens and Publixes throughout the community because there is such high demand. Other papers sold out this morning: the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the LA Times. We have a lot more on this historic election on our website. You can see all the election results and watch Obama and McCain's entire speeches. That's all at cbs4.com/campaign08.
Well, hurricane season is almost over, but the tropics are not quiet yet. There's a new tropical depression in the Caribbean to talk about. CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist David Bernard is here now with the details. David.
We're going to keep more than one eye on this, Erica, and I'll show you why in just a moment. This is the first advisory on Depression 17 at 5 o'clock. It's 115 miles southeast of the Honduran and Nicaraguan border, drifting northwest at 5 with 30-mile-per-hour winds. Now, how strong could the depression potentially get, and where is it going? Now, we think by tomorrow, according to the Hurricane Center, this could possibly be Tropical Storm Paloma, and look, maybe a hurricane by the time we move into the weekend, affecting places like the Cayman Islands in the cone. And by Sunday, well, then the cone really widens, and just anywhere along the Cuban coastline is a potential impact. And look how close the cone is to us and South Florida and the Keys. And so we'll have to keep that in the back of our mind. If the storm tracks on the west side of this cone, we could definitely have some direct or indirect impacts in the Keys and potentially in the mainland areas. Right now, that track, though, keeps to the south by late Monday and moving through portions of the southern Bahamas, which is pretty common for this time of the year. Tropical storm watch in effect right now for the Honduran and Nicaraguan border. Here's a satellite picture this afternoon. And again, the center is sitting right down in here, but you can definitely see the turning of the clouds and a much more concentrated area of thunderstorms close to the center than we had 24 hours ago. And as a result, the hurricane hunter said, yep, this is a depression. Already, some of those bands are spreading to the north over the Caymans and back toward Jamaica. More on what this means for South Florida and the latest computer models. I'll have those in just a few minutes.
Okay, David, thank you. We have a lot more election results ahead.
Reaction to the passage of Amendment 2, what it now means for gay and straight couples with domestic partnership rights.
Also, the baby with the power of the president in his name. Meet the new Obama, coming up.
With laws already on the books to ban same-sex marriage in Florida, voters now added that ban to the state constitution. Amendment 2 defines marriage as an institution between one man and one woman. It passed by 62 to 38%. Voters in Arizona and California passed similar amendments. CBS 4's Ted Scouten tells us South Florida's gay community is concerned over what could happen next.
But we had this whole discussion last night about...
It's the chatter of the coffee crowd at Java Boys in the middle of one of America's gayest cities. Many here in Wilton Manors can't believe there is now a constitutional ban on same-sex marriage in Florida.
Yeah, it does bother me because it's not an option.
Tim and David have only been dating for 2.5 months, but they still wonder about the future and if this vote could affect domestic partnership rights.
If he got sick or if I got sick, I would want him in the room with me, you know, and they would make him wait, you know, because he's not family.
Let's write up some glasses for...
Karen and Julie have been together for 6 years. They own the Chic Optique eyeglass store. The vote is disappointing, dashing any hopes of ever walking down the aisle in Florida.
We just want everybody to be able to love and to be with the one they love. And
have the same rights.
And have the same rights. Because I want to be there for her. I don't want anybody to close the door on me.
Gay rights organizations are baffled that in gay-friendly South Florida, they got less than 50% support, and that same-sex marriage bans also passed in Arizona and California, where gay marriage was legal.
Ultimately, what we're going to do is try to change the climate. We're going to detoxify the atmosphere.
We are very pleased with the outcome of the vote.
Supporters of Amendment 2, like the mega Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church, say with 62% support, voters were very clear in the message they sent.
The majority of Florida voters said that marriage is to be defined in this state as between being one man and one woman, and no liberal activist judge can read into the words of the Constitution of Florida something that is not there.
So here's what happens now. Gay rights organizers are going to get together and strategize and try and figure out what went wrong and what they're going to concentrate on next. In Wilton Manors, I'm Ted Scouten, CBS 4 News.
The race for the Broward sheriff is not over yet. About 16,000 votes still need to be counted, leaving a close race up in the air. Right now, Sheriff Alan Bertie has 51% of the vote. His Democratic challenger, Scott Israel, has 49%. Only 9,200 votes separate the two. The Broward Canvassing Board expects to finish counting all of the votes tomorrow. And coming up next at 6:30, a special one-hour edition of the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, including a look at the possible members of Obama's cabinet.
Hundreds of cruise passengers paid a fuel surcharge without even knowing it. Now, Florida's Attorney General is trying to get them their money back. Attorney General Bill McCollum filed a $4 million lawsuit against Imperial Majesty Cruise Line today. The plantation-based company allegedly told customers the charges were government taxes and fees. If you sailed on an Imperial Majesty cruise from October 2006 until today, you should call the Attorney General's office. The number is 866-966-7226.
The presidential results were trickling in last night when Sasha Hall Fisher delivered her third child at Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood. The parents from Miramar decided to mark the historic election by naming her son for the president. This is Sanjay Obama Fisher. The proud mom has high hopes for her new baby boy.
I'd love him to be president one day, you know. You're the next black president.
Baby Sanjay Obama isn't the only one with a connection to Barack Obama. His mom, Sasha, shares the name with the president-elect's 7-year-old daughter. So lots of connections there.
And in Kenya, apparently, the big names now are Barack and Michelle, not Obama.
Oh.
But
there you go. Well, here we're talking about that tropical depression number 17, right, David?
That's right. Going to keep a close eye on this. If you haven't heard yet today, we do have a new depression in the Caribbean. It's number 17, 30-mile-per-hour winds moving northwest at 5 very slowly. That's 115 miles southeast of the Honduran and Nicaraguan borders. So let's look at the future track and the risk area on the storm over the next 5 days. A slow drift to the north Thursday, Friday, and into the Saturday time period when it could impact the Cayman Islands directly. Then Sunday and Monday, we talk about Cuba and the Bahamas. Now, right now, we're not in the cone, the Keys or South Florida, but it's close. Could it come as far north as the Straits? Right now, it's unlikely, but it is at least a possibility as we look at the longer range forecast. And I'll show you why in a minute why it probably would not happen. Now, the computer models are indicating a similar track to what the Hurricane Center has, a slow drift north and a sharp turn to the east by late in the weekend, keeping it well south of us. But here's why we think that is going to materialize. When we take a look at the water vapor, here's developing depression 17 down to the south. And when we look up to the north and west, we start to see this big dip in the jet stream that's developing over Oklahoma and Texas this afternoon. We think that dip is going to continue moving down to the south and east, and that's eventually what is going to cause a sharp turn to the east and northeast. But if the trough is slower or the storm stays further to the south longer, then that situation could change. And that's why the cone gets so wide, nearly touching our area by the time we get into Sunday, Monday time period. You can track the storm all the rest of the week with us into the weekend right there at CBS4.com. Boy, we had a nice day today, didn't we? Beautiful outside. It was a great sunset. Beautiful shot of the moon tonight. Here's a look at our current temperatures. We're in the low 70s, 70 at Key West. Sticking to scale today, back to a 0, very dry with a light northwest wind at 3. And live weather bug conditions right now, we're looking at temperatures of 71 degrees at Coral Reef Senior High School in Palmetto Bay. Right now, winds are basically calm. Our true for tomorrow, it looks like more sunshine, maybe a little warmer than today, but not by much. I think it's still nice. And then on Friday, still looks like it's mainly going to be sunny with maybe just a few clouds, but I think it stays dry. And then here comes that trough for the weak front on Saturday with maybe some spotty showers. And then on Sunday, depending if the storm strengthens or becomes a hurricane, how strong it gets, we could have a gusty breeze here and a quick shower as the front moves through and pushes potentially Paloma, that would be the name, off to the east. For tonight, 57 inland, 64 at the coast. It could be patchy fog again, and nice and warm tomorrow with 80. And on the water, look for northeast winds at 10. Seas up to 5 in the Gulf Stream. And here's the outlook then going into the weekend. Good tomorrow, good Friday. Spotty shower on Saturday. Gusty breeze on Sunday. Again, depending how strong the storm is going to be. And maybe breezy sun into Monday. Hey, Veterans Day on Tuesday. Possibly a couple of showers.
Thank you, David.
We'll be right back.
Kimbo Camper here, sports. Well, the Dolphins dropped the Broncos 3 days ago, but it seems that the trash talk will not die.
He's one of those guys that, you know, no matter how big he is, he still can get knocked on his butt, and he's soft. He's soft at heart, and you can tell the way he's talking. His nickname is Peasy. I don't know what Peasy is. Joey.
That's Denver receiver Brandon Marshall on Tuesday talking about the Finns' Joey Porter. Now today the Dolphin linebacker responds. However, Porter, who leads the league with 11.5 sacks, chooses to gush about the election of a Barack Obama rather than get into a war of words with Marshall. And call me crazy, but isn't it the winning team that usually throws out the post-game trash talk?
I'm not going to let Brandon Marshall mess with my day-to-day. Today is a great day. It's a day for change, so Peasy go change today. I'm going to be the bigger man and turn the other cheek and not even worry about this young dude right here.
Well, the Dolphins won't have to worry about Derek Hagan anymore. Today, the team released the wide receiver after 2.5 seasons. Hagan, a third-round pick in 2006, leaves with 50 career receptions, and his biggest problem, he couldn't make the big catch when they needed it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. We're coming right back.
But first, a reminder, CBS 4 goes all digital on February 18th, 2009. Viewers with antennas may lose their signals. For more information, call 888-DTV-2009, or you can go to cbs4.com/DTV. Remember, if you see news in the making, please give us a call in either Miami-Dade or Broward. Call 866-658-8477.
You can also take a picture or email us at pix4@cbs4.com. And that's going to do it for us tonight. A 1-hour special edition of the CBS Evening News is next.
And we leave you now with the sights and sounds of this historic election. Good night.
Because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
I mean, look at our souls, look at our hearts. We have elected a black man.
150 years ago, there were 31 million people who lived in this country. 4 million of those people were slaves. 4 million people.
As an African American, I'm especially proud because this is a country that's been through a long journey.
It feels like hope won. Feels like America did the right thing.
No matter how they cast their ballots, all Americans can be proud of the history that was made yesterday.
She was born at a time in this country where it would have been dangerous for her to look a white woman in the eye, a white man in the eye. I said, Mama, what do you think? She said, baby, I got 4 words for you. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands.
Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past rooted in pain, I rise. A black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swelling, bearing in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak miraculously clear, I rise. Bringing the hopes that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, we all rise.
We are and always will be the United States of America.